Today we'll be covering a new ramp card for Druid, a new legendary for Demon Hunter that lets you attack multiple turrets, and all the other cards that got revealed today. If you missed cards from yesterday, I got a video for that as well, and tomorrow we'll have another video with the remaining cards of the mini set Echoes of Infinite. Anyway, let's get started with the very first card, and it's the warrior card, the only pure warrior card. It is the Dimensional Weaponsmith, a 3-mana 2/5 dragon. Battlecry, give all minions and weapons in your hand +2 attack. So obviously this goes right into a dragon warrior. It seems like it's especially weak right now in the 3-drop slot. There's no good dragon really there. There's the infinite whelp, but not exactly what you want to do in a more aggressive deck is play a 1-attack minion. So this I think goes well in that deck. Outside of that though, doesn't seem too amazing. Like give minions attack. Yeah, you need a minion-heavy deck for that, and there's not too many minion-heavy decks in Warrior right now, or like Rushers, Chargers, right, if you want to buff it. That's not really there in Warrior. Plus attack on weapon. I don't know what you want to do with that. The weapons right now in Warrior are not exactly strong. There's only one weapon being played, that's the Bulwark, and you don't care about buffing that really. And the other weapons you get are random weapons, so you don't buff it with that. So you're right now purely looking at that attack on the minions. Though maybe in the future, you know, who knows, you get a Doomhammer for Warrior, this suddenly becomes amazing. But right now, I think it's gonna slot into Dragon Warrior and yeah, nothing else. And then maybe in the future something. So I'll be giving this card 3 stars. Next card we have is for the Warrior plus Warlock pairing. It's the Eternal Toil, a 1-mana shadow spell. Deal 1 damage to a minion. If it survives, draw a card. If it dies, summon a random 1-cost minion. So this feels a little bit like Mortal Coil, but then a little bit different than Mortal Coil, of course, because the minion actually has to survive. But if you kill it, then you get a 1-cost. So if you just really need to kill a minion with 1 HP, like a 5/1, then you know you actually get something here. It's not just that you have to keep the minion alive, like say for like the Shaman card, I think it is, right? The 3-mana spell, deal 5 that only draws 2 cards if it survives. So this is a lot better than that. But still, you mostly want to play this, I think, for that draw, right? Getting a 1-cost minion and deal 1 damage. It's not exactly amazing. So usually you're looking for that draw, but in the early game, like even turn 1, if the opponent plays like 2 1/1s, turn 1, you can kill one and contest the other. That can be nice. Have some early game as a Warlock or a Warrior. Just deal with that stuff. But most of the time, I think you're really looking, or at least putting the card in your deck for that draw. And I mean, 1-mana draw a card. It's a bit like Slam, but it's easier for a minion to live after that. And you actually get something if you kill a minion with it, which you didn't get with Slam. And a Slam has seen some play. Though, yeah, not as much recently, I think. And yeah, this one can also go on Warlock, where it might be better. And it's just way more consistent in drawing stuff. And it's way better at hitting your own minions. So you don't have to hit your own minion for 2 damage. So yeah, seems better than Slam. That seemed like a solid card. So I'll be giving this 3 stars as well. Then the last card we have for the Warrior Warlock combo is the End Time Survivor. A 5-mana 5/6 minion with Taunt and Battlecry. If your hero took damage this turn, gain +3/+3. So I don't think there's any way for Warlock right now to deal insta damage the turn you get it, or at least not consistent. Like, yeah, you can draw a Shred of Time, deal 3. Then this is active, you get an 8/9 minion for 5 mana. I mean, if you can do that every time on turn 5 mana, 8/9, that's not bad. But I think the issue here is that that's just not gonna happen consistently. Like, yeah, I need a weapon as Warrior, which, again, you don't have too many good weapons. So maybe play the Stadium Announcer into this, but are you going to be playing this in Dragon Warrior? Probably not, and that's only if you play that card, and then there's a minion to hit. So that's like the best case scenario, kinda. And yeah, after turn 5, this card just seems not really like quite worth it anymore. You have to take damage, then play this, and you can't do anything bigger than this or having more impact on the board. It's just a taunt with stats. And we've seen that, yeah, in the past few years, these kind of cards just don't really see play. And this is just not quite enough stats to make it worth it, and just slightly too difficult to pull off. So I don't think you will be playing this card, and I'll be giving it 1 star. Then we're going to the only Warlock card in the set, which is the Acolyte of Infinity, a 3-mana 5/5 dragon. Battlecry, set the cost of a random card to your hand to infinity. Death Rattle, change it back. So first of all, it's a 3-mana 5/5 and a dragon. That slots right into a Shred lock because it has dragon synergy, and it basically has no 3-drops right now in that deck. And the deck has a lot of overstated minions, right? You can play like the Whelp on 1, the 2-mana 4/4 on turn 2, then you maybe this on turn 3 as a 5/5, the 4-mana 7/7, and they're all dragons, so they can all get buffed by the Whelp as well. So I feel like that slots right into that deck in the 3-cost slot. Yeah, there is a downside though, that Battlecry is pretty bad. You might not get to play the card you want next turn, which is definitely downside, but I mean, that needs it, right? Because it is a 3 mana 5/5. It needs some sort of downside. They can also get frozen, which kind of sucks if this gets frozen for a few turns, or like Glacial Shard or Sleet Skater, and then you just get an unplayable card in hand. But I think the upside is there for this card, for that Shredslog deck. I don't think it really wants to see play in other decks where, yeah, you're not really an aggro deck. The overstated minion doesn't really work, I think. And yeah, especially if you hit like a removal card and then this stays alive, then you can't remove the next turn. So I don't think it fits in those kind of decks. But I think it slots right into the Shredslog, does exactly what it wants to do. And the downside, again, it sucks, but it's manageable, I'd say. And of course, it changes back if it gets killed. So there might not even be a downside. And if it doesn't get killed, you get to hit with a 5/5 most of the time. So that is not too bad either. So I think it slots into Shredslog. So for that, I'll be giving this 3 stars. Then we have the second card for the Warlock Hunter combination after the quest we discussed yesterday already, which lets you discard the entire opponent's head if you get to complete it. I wasn't very high on that card, but this card is the Chrono Claws, a 4 mana 4/3 weapon. After your hero attacks, discard your highest cost card. So obviously this card is made for that quest, so you can do it, but yeah, again, I don't think that quest is gonna work. I don't think this is necessarily that great either, because I think with this card, it's going to take too long for even to set up the quest. Like, it takes 3 turns to get rid of cards, and then you still have basically 7 other cards, right? You have to get rid of. Feels a bit slow, and you have to have this early. I just don't think the quest is going to work. And then outside of the quest, is this going to be working? I mean, it's 4 mana, deal 12 damage. But discarding 3 cards is a huge downside. There's no upside right now to discarding. There's no Hand of Gul'dan or something that draws 3 cards when you discard it, which was amazing a few years ago. So nothing like that is here. So yeah, it's just a pure downside unless you have an empty hand. And I don't think the weapon is quite good enough to make up for that. I mean, 4 mana deal 12 seems nice, but in Hunter we already have that kind of weapon with the Discover weapon where you get +2 attack if you discover. That's most of the time 12 attack as well for just 3 mana. And that's sometimes a 1/0 card, and that has even more upsides where you can get immune, and that's barely seeing play, and this is just kind of worse in almost every scenario. Yeah, maybe in Warlock, you know, you can get a weapon, but I don't see where you want to be playing this weapon in right now, unless there's going to be some discard synergy. But there's nothing right now, so I'm going to be basing the card on that, and that's why I'll be giving this card 1 star. Just don't see any deck this goes into. Then we go to Hunter with the 1 Hunter card is the Trianium Rex, a 5 mana 5/5 beast. With Kindred and Death Rattle, get a random Death Rattle minion. It costs 2 less. Now, if you forgot what Kindred was, that means you have to play, in this case, a beast the turn before to have this effect active. Not a lot of good Kindred cards we've seen, and yeah, I don't think this one is very good either. It's a 5 mana 5/5 by itself. Yeah, maybe if you play the Beast the turn before, but yeah, not too many decks really want to play this, I think. Like, what decks are really playing Beast consistently? It may be a Quest Hunter, but that Quest Hunter is trying to get the quest done as fast as possible and not spend 5 mana on a 5/5. So I don't really see what this card goes into, and even then, the effect is not that amazing when you play just a 5 mana 5/5. You get 2 random Death Rattle minions. I mean, often like maybe a 2 mana 2/2 with a small effect, or maybe no effect, depending on what deck you're playing. And yeah, for this kind of card, that's just not good enough for a 5 mana card that has base stats as a 5/5. And yeah, I don't think this is going to be any good Death Rattle synergy. It's random after all, so you can't really build around it. And yeah, I don't see where you want to be playing this card, so I'll be giving this 1 star. And the other dual class combination Hunter gets is with Paladin, and here we have the Brutish and Maw, a 3 mana 3/3 beast. Battlecry, discover a 1-cost minion with a dark gift. So this feels a little bit like the Creature of Madness, but yeah, you play this on 3, then on turn 4 you have a 1-cost minion, although it means that you can't play the 4-cost like Elise, which is kind of a downside. But 1-cost minions with dark gift can be really good, especially if you get those extra stats on it. But some could be not as good because they're getting a charge on a 1-cost. Not that amazing compared to like 3-cost minions. Even on 3-cost are often not that great, but you can get some nice dark gifts on this. But again, a card, I'm not sure what this goes into. It feels like a bit of an aggressive card, and I'm not sure aggro Paladin would want to play this. They rather have more tokens and then bust with it, and this is just a 3/3 by itself on turn 3. Not exactly what they want, I think. And then in Hunter, yeah, Quest Hunter, I don't think wants this. They want cheaper minions again. Get that quest done as soon as possible, and yeah, Discover Hunter doesn't want this, even though it does say Discover, but I think they have way too many good 3-drops already compared to this one, so I think they'd rather play some other cards. So I'm not quite sure what this goes into, but I don't think it is completely unplayable at some point, because it is a dark gift on a 1-cost, which isn't too bad, I think. So I'll be giving this card 2 stars, so maybe it'll see play in the future. Now we have the second card for this combination, which is the Synchronized Spark. It is a 4 mana spell. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. If it dies, give a random friendly minion +3/+3. So yeah, you need to have the opponent have a minion for this card, and then if it dies, then yeah, your minion gets buffed and might have sort of charge damage with it with the +3/+3. So that can be nice, but that's a lot of ifs. Your opponent needs a minion that you want to kill, and if there's no minion, this card is completely useless. You can't even hit your own minion to buff your own minion, and yeah, all it does is give one minion +3/+3 for 4 mana. And yeah, even a card like Blessing of Kings, 4 mana +4/+4 does not really seem like a good card nowadays. This is less stats, needs the opponent to have a minion on board, it needs to die, and yeah, it can be nice to have a deal 3 to a minion, but for 4 mana and needing a board for that just doesn't seem worth. Dealing 3 damage to a minion is not exactly an amazing effect, and then yeah, the upside of it is also not really making up for it with the +3/+3, so I don't see where you want to be playing this card, and I'll be giving this 1 star. And now we have 2 more dual class cards for Paladin, this time with Druid. We already saw the Paladin card yesterday with the infinite attack weapon, but this time we got some cards for them with Druid, starting with the Acceleration Aura. Is a 2 mana holy spell. At the start of your turn, gain a temporary mana crystal, last 3 turns. So this is 2 mana and then gain 3 mana over a couple of turns. It's not quite Wild Growth, of course, because that's the rest of the game, which definitely is better, but yeah, Wild Growth would be a 5-star card, and yeah, I don't think this is quite a 5-star card, but it's certainly a really good card. Lets you do stuff earlier, and that has been always very powerful in Hearthstone. You can play this on 2, at least on 3, and a location on 4. I mean, what is not to like about that? Even in the late game, you get some mana crystals back, but yeah, it's not amazing then. But of course, that's the same for all the ramp cards. Not amazing in the late game, but early on, if you get that going, it can really help you get over that bad early game that the Druid decks often have if they play ramp cards. And this just seems excellent in those decks. Now, Paladin, it is an aura, so it could go into Aura Paladin, maybe play that Galvin a turn earlier, which would be very powerful, or just get it summoned with Galvin, although I don't think it's quite as powerful of that. And it's a holy spell, so maybe in Drunk Paladin you could play it as well to get, yeah, just more mana, get those 8/8s out earlier, and then just have a holy spell as well with it. So I feel like this is a card that can go into both classes. Feels like for most cards it doesn't quite work like that, dual class cards, but this one seems like a really strong card, and yeah, I'll be giving this 4 stars. Just looks like we're gonna see this card a lot. And the second card for the Druid Paladin combo is the Twilight Time Reaver, a 6 mana 5/5 dragon. Choose one. Set the attack of all other minions to 1 or health to 1. So this is a bit like the Adric the Pure, I think, that puts all 1 enemy minions to 1 attack. And that saw a tiny bit of play, but that is many, many years ago. And yeah, this one is not quite worth it for just that. However, I think the putting enemy minions to 1 health is a bit better, especially because you can, you know, consecrate in Paladin if you ever play that. Definitely feels like a worse card in Paladin, but in Druid you have like Swipe, Seabreeze, Chalice, really easy ways to get rid of the enemy board, and Druid often struggles with those big minions, so that can be nice in that. But then what does this go into? Like, there's no really control Paladin. There's not really cheap ways to like remove those minions with it. You're not playing this like an aggro deck that has 1 wants to trade. And it's also hitting your own minions. It's all other minions, so not just the opponent's side, which makes this card definitely worse. But I think maybe just the health part, putting all the other minions to 1 HP, and then being able to yeah, clear the board, is something Druids might struggle with. And that's why I think this card might see play. So I'll be giving this card 2 stars. Now let's get to the Druid only card in Splintered Reality. It's a 4 mana nature spell. Summon 2 2/2 treants. They gain +1/+1 for each friendly treant that died this game. So this goes into a treant druid, but that doesn't really exist. I looked at the treant cards and there's barely any treant cards in standard. So is this a card for like next year when they're going to be putting a lot more treant cards in standard, in the core set maybe, or the next expansion? I don't know. Right now, yeah, I don't think this card will see any play. It just seems pretty horrible. Like, you want these cards to be at least like 5/5s, I think, to be worth it. Like 2 4/4s for 4 mana with a requirement. Not quite as good, but maybe that's okay. But yeah, I really want to go for the 5/5s, but it requires you to have consistently those treants in early game, and I just don't think that's really possible right now. However, if we do get any new treant cards, and I feel like we gotta, right, if they make this card, then this can definitely be playable. It even scales into the late game. It's not like one of those cards that's good on curve but then dead in the late game, because late game this might just be, you know, 2 12/12s if a lot of your treants died. And that can be a lot of stats, especially for just 4 mana. And even on curve, getting those treants means also your next Splintered Reality is going to get buffed by the treants that die here. So I'm going to give this 2 stars. Right now, I think it's a 1-star card. I don't think you want to be playing it right now, but I can see it in the future with more treant cards being playable. So that's why that 2-star rating. Then let's go to the other dual class cards for Druid with Press the Advantage, going together with Demon Hunter here. It is a 2-mana spell. Deal 1 damage, give your hero +1 attack this turn, draw 1 card, and gain 1 armor. So that's a lot of things on a 2-mana card, but it's all not doing a lot. But combined, it seems decent. Feels a bit like Chaos Strike, right? Where you got 2 attack and draw a card. But this seems even better than that because you get to actually split the damage up and you don't have to face tech like a 1 HP minion to clear it. You also get 1 armor, which is not a lot, but 1 HP might just make the difference. I mean, how often have you been 1 HP off lethal? So it might just make the difference. And yeah, it just seems like a solid card overall. It can go into a lot of decks. We're already seeing like with the Dread Seed, right? 2-mana draw card plus a minion with it. That's delayed. And yeah, this feels a bit similar to that as well. Just 2-mana draw card with upside seems decent in both decks. It's something you often want in these decks, in any deck really. So it seems like a solid card in a lot of decks. So I'll be giving this card 3 stars. Then the second card for Druid and Demon Hunter is the Enduring Roach, a 3-mana 3/4 beast. After you use your hero power, refresh 2 mana crystals. So this seems better in Demon Hunter because you obviously have that 1-mana hero power, so you get 1 mana back. So it's in a way a 2-mana 3/4, but you have to use a hero power, which is also often not quite worth the 1 mana itself. So it's not an amazing card then, this Enduring Roach. In Druid, yeah, just hero powering at turn 5. Not amazing. You get like a free hero power basically, and yeah, that's not really worth it for Druid. You do have the card in Druid that makes your next to hero powers cost 0, so you can kind of make this work for 0 mana and get 1 mana 3/4. But that also doesn't really seem worth building your whole deck around. And I also don't think there's a good way right now to have your hero power be used multiple times in a turn, because if you could do that, this card would be pretty incredible, like a Dark Glare in Wild, where it just gets so much mana in 1 turn. I don't think that's there right now in Standard, but who knows, in the future this card could really be one of those cards that is incredibly powerful if that happens. So I don't think it's the case at this point, and I don't really see where you want to be quite playing this card. I don't feel like it's quite good enough in aggro, because you can generally only play like starting turn 4 and then playing just the 2-mana 3/4. It's not the best thing you can do anymore, I think. It's nice if it lives though, that is pretty nice. Then you get like a hero power that gives you 1 extra mana, but then it has to live, and how often does that have? I don't think quite often enough. So I'll be giving this card 2 stars, because also maybe in the future, you know, you get like a deck with multiple hero powers in the same turn. This can be pretty powerful, but right now it doesn't seem too good. And here we have the 1 legendary of today, which is Kronikar, a 5-mana 3/5 dragon. Battlecry, give your hero +3 attack this turn, next turn, and the turn after. So that is a lot of damage in 1 card. For 5 mana, you get to deal 9 damage over 3 turns. And it feels like that's just exactly what the Demon Hunter wants to do. It just wants to push damage, especially in those aggro decks, where it's probably going to see played aggro Demon Hunter, which has been a staple for a while. And the deck just has so many cards that push damage, and it loves to see more cards that push damage. And especially a card like this, you play it on turn 5, you hit, then you hit, then you hit, at 9 damage for just 5 mana. It's almost a Pyroblast. You get this minion as well with it. Not the greatest minion, but it is a minion your opponent has to deal with, while you just keep pushing damage over and over, and just seems excellent in the aggro Demon Hunter. Outside of that, I'm not really sure what other decks you want to be playing this in, like a Cliff Dive. It could be nice if you play this on 5 and then on 7 you Cliff Dive, you can immediately attack with the Inquisitor, but then this card can also get Cliff Dived, and that's not what you want, and I don't think this card is quite good enough for that chance to happen. So I think we'll only see playing those aggressive decks, unless there's some Wind Fury weapon Demon Hunter gets as well at some point in the next year, but I doubt it. But that could happen, and that this is a very powerful effect. And it's also a dragon, so maybe we're going to see the Whelp in this deck as well. We've seen the Whelps in Death Knight as well, even though it seems like weird to put it in, but we've seen it in those decks, so maybe this kind of dragon card can help with that. Who knows? But overall, seems like a good card in aggro Demon Hunter, so I'll be giving this 3 stars. The Demon Hunter is getting a combination with Death Knight in Bygone Echoes, a 5-mana shadow spell. Summon a random 4-cost minion, spend 4 corpses to summon another, outcast, and another. So best case scenario on turn 5, you get 3 4-cost minions, which is pretty nice. So that's solid if you can get that done consistently. The problem though, of course, is getting this done consistently. First of all, it's a 5-mana outcast card, and generally the higher cost the outcast card is, the bigger the effect has to be. And just a random 4-cost isn't exactly amazing. It could be like a 2/3, just a 4/4. I'm sure you've seen it off Grifta getting a random 4-cost minion. It's not really that amazing. nothing or anything to write home about. But yeah, the fact that you can get 3 is nice. But the other thing is you have to spend corpses. So in Demon Hunter, it's not an issue because you don't spend corpses on anything else, but you do need those corpses by then. So if you're playing this like a spell Demon Hunter, a good chance you don't actually have those corpses yet, so then you can't play on curve, and this card gets significantly worse if you don't play it on curve. So I don't think this card is quite good enough in any Demon Hunter decks. And in Death Knight decks, again, I also don't know where you want to be playing this. Usually you rather spend corpses on other things, and you often play expensive cards in Death Knight. Even in the Triple Unholy deck, I think you play a lot of expensive cards, so that makes it really hard to outcast this card, and that makes it just kind of not worth it, because you really have to get like 2, usually 3 of these 4-cost minions on turn 5 for this card to be worth it, and that's generally, I think, just not gonna be happening with this card. So I don't think you want to be putting this card in your deck, and that's why I'll be giving it 1 star. And then we get to the final card of today, which is the Remnant of Rage. A 7-mana 6/5 undead demon, again for both Demon Hunter and Death Knight. Costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. Battlecry, draw 2 cards. So this should be any minion, so including your opponent. So this is really good if you play against another deck that plays a lot of minions you can trade into, and you have a lot of small minions that didn't die on your turn. So this could go down to 0 mana 6/5 draw 2 cards, which is obviously incredible. But I think that's most of the time obviously not gonna be happening. I mean, how often do you have a full board of like small minions that you do want to trade? And then have this one, not very often, but it is possible. And yeah, all you need is like trade 1 minion into another minion. They both die. This is a 5 mana 6/5 draw 2, which is not terrible, but yeah, it can really scale fast. If you trade 2 minions, it's already 3 mana. That's pretty incredible. And obviously your opponent is often going to try and kill all your small minions when this card exists. Makes it a lot harder to actually activate this, or at least reduce it by a lot. And if you're facing a deck like, let's say, a Quest Warrior, they're not going to be playing a lot of minions for you to trade into or a discount with it. So they're going to be killing your minions on their turn, and then this doesn't get discounted. So that just kind of hurts this card a lot in those matches. But I think, yeah, it's a card that gets discounted with draw 2 and a minion on top of it. I'm not going to underrate it this time and give it a 1-star rating. It's not a bad card. It's just, yeah, it kind of requires specific decks to be in, and then your opponent kind of work with you. So it's not a super amazing card, though. It sometimes can be really amazing, but I don't think that's gonna happen too often. But overall, I think it's a good card, so we're giving this card 3 stars. So those are all the cards for today. In the last batch of cards, I will be reviewing on my channel tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time.